Kia ora and welcome back to the channel. I'm Elvie and today we are doing a watercolor painting today. We are using my curated set that I put in this palette. I have reviewed the paints that were originally in here a while ago, I think it was last year, and it's just a different version of my travel set that I take with me everywhere. And in this set I have replaced those colours, like I've used them up or gifted them away, with my own selection of colours from a range of brands. We've got some Roman Schmall, we've got some Da Vinci, Core, Shinhan, Schminker, and yeah, I've kind of, over the last 3 videos, I reviewed them one-on-one, kind of, like I did some animal portrait paintings with them, and today we are using all of them, as you can see, and we're doing a painting. We're doing a painting of a kakabeak, which is a beautiful flower found in New Zealand, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put these paints. Maybe up there, so you can still see my, okay, I think that's gonna work. So yeah, I guess we'll get into it. I might as well use the pen that comes with the set. Well, not comes, but I put in with the set, which is the random pigment liner that is waterproof, which is the main important part there. This is Paul Rubin sketchbook, 100% cotton paper. I've just got it off Amazon. I don't love it, but you know, I'm almost done. I've got 2 more paintings, this is one of them, to do before I finish the sketchbook, so very soon you'll get a sketchbook tour as well. So a very active week on the channel for you guys. So hopefully you've been enjoying the burst of videos before I get back into my assessments, and yeah, hopefully they've been interesting videos as well. I took a photo of the kakabeak plant. They can be a bit of a nuisance to grow because snails absolutely love them, so they tend to eat them before they grow big enough to kind of look after themselves, and they kind of look like chilies, which is very funny, and I assume they're called kakabeak because they look like a kaka, the bird, their beak, but I could be wrong. I haven't fact checked that, but they're kind of, yeah, shape of a chili. So I was gonna buy some kakabeak earrings, but I was like, they look too much like chilies. I don't think anyone would quite get it. But they are a very, very beautiful flower nonetheless. And yeah, it's spring at the moment where I am, so it's nice to see all the flowers out and about while I go for a walk. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun to paint. They are bright red, so when we get into the colour part you'll be able to see me try to get that intensity. And they've got very interesting leaves. They remind me of kowhai leaves, if you are familiar with them. They are one of the iconic New Zealand flowers that are bright yellow. I think they are the same family of tree. I could be wrong there. That's just what I've kind of guessed with the leaf shape and their flowers. Like, they look very similar to each other, especially this kind of cap up here. Yeah, both of them have that kind of flower or lid thing. I'm just going straight in with the pen, by the way. I didn't kind of think this through, so we're kind of figuring it out together. But they are quite fun to draw. I haven't painted these before either. I've done my fair share of kowhai flowers, but I haven't done kaka flowers because, or kakabeak flowers, because I've not really thought about doing them before, so it's something new every time. When you think you've painted everything, there's always something you haven't painted. There's always more, which is good, keeps you inspired. And I don't tend to paint a lot of flowers, so it is nice to be able to practice that as well. Kind of just putting in the leaves. kind of just very oval leaves. Sorry if you can hear a movie. My friends downstairs, they are watching a movie, and I don't blame them. It's been a long long Saturday, so can't blame them for wanting to relax. It's almost end of assessments for some of my friends, and for me, I've got my assessment in a couple of weeks, which is exciting, so I'm almost done. So getting into the thick of it, really. And I haven't decided yet if I will, but I might upload like a short video of me walking alongside my artwork for you guys, so you can see what I've been up to. But yeah, that will just be if I remember to, or if I feel like it. So that might be a video coming out as well. But yeah, I don't know how many videos for the next like month after. There's like 4 or 5 that are definitely going to be out. There'll be a couple before this one, and then like a sketchbook tour for this, and maybe a daily drawing one, because I haven't done one of those on the channel for a while. But we'll just see how it goes. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to draw or talk about, I'd love to hear suggestions. Always open to it. Yeah, or if there's a video that you really enjoyed, let me know. I love hearing feedback, positive or negative. It's good to hear about it. I've had some lovely comments recently from some of you guys just about my videos and stuff. It's been really nice reading them, so thank you for all the positive comments and stuff. It's been very, very sweet. Okay, this is the last of the flowers, I think. There we go. They look exactly like chilies. So we'll go on to painting now. 7 minutes in and we're already painting. I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess I should use the paint brushes I put in the palette. Though I will use my glass containers. Okay, I'm wondering if my pen is dry. I'll just let it dry for a little bit longer and then we'll be back. Okay, I left it for like a minute or two. So we'll go in now. We'll start with the bright red because that's the part I'm most excited about. So we've got the core, I think it's quinacridone magenta, and then the Shinhan vermilion red. I could be so wrong. I could just check the set online, but I didn't think about that actually. But that's okay. So we've got our bright red here ready to go, and we'll just paint it as a base color for all the Kakabik flowers, which doesn't help them in any way to not look like chili, but it's okay. Just kind of maybe a little bit more vermilion. Slightly, it's hard to say if it's the lighting makes the flowers look a bit cooler, but I think they are a bit more of a neutral red. So we've got a couple more flowers, and maybe I'll add a little bit more quinacridone just to change up the flower color a little bit, keep it a little varied. And I'll come back to these to add some shadow and depth to them. But in the meantime, we'll go on to the leaves, which I'll start with the urban green, maybe a little bit of orange spore, the lemon yellow there, maybe the phthalo green. I'm undecided. Actually, I'll do one there. They're very bright leaves. I'm so sorry about I don't know what movie they're watching. It's slightly loud. That's okay. I can hear it quite well, so I'm very sorry if you can hear it. Okay, maybe I'll add a little bit more the phthalo green to it, but for now just get some of the leaves with some colour down. This painting probably won't use all the colours, but I feel like most paintings don't always use all the colours, so that's okay. The main thing is just figuring out as you go what kind of colours you use, what colours you don't tend to use, and from there kind of narrowing it down, maybe swapping some out, and yeah, just figuring out what works for you, because the colours that I have picked might not be the colours that you'd necessarily want in your own palette, and that's okay. I love hearing what colours people prefer. I've recently gotten into my warm yellows and the yellow ochre. Like, I always used cool yellow, and now I feel like I barely ever use it. So yeah, I really find it interesting how people's preferences change for colours, or maybe they surprise themselves with a colour they didn't think they'd ever want in a palette and now are like obsessed with. Like, one of my all-time favourite colours now is the Schminker sepia colour that came in the retro tin set that I reviewed on the channel also quite a while ago, last year I think, and I love like majority of those colours, except for the cobalts. Like, I love the cadmium, and I don't tend to like cadmium, but the cadmium yellow in that set is just amazing, so I have it in my travel set. That, as well as the, yeah, as I said, sepia colour, I also really enjoy using, and I actually might have to repurchase a tube of that soon. So yeah, it's lasted what, a year before almost running out. I guess I do have like another half pan of it, I think, in the set, but I've got, yeah, just a small bit in my half pan, my travel set, left, and the tube's basically empty. So yeah, it's been amazing trying different browns and stuff, because when I first had my travel set I used sepia, actually, burnt sepia, and that was quite an orange leaning brown, and it was very warm and I struggled with it. But then I moved on to Winsor Newton Cotman burnt umber, and I really enjoyed that, and then kind of back and forth between the sepia and the umber, and then I found the burnt sienna, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. And so you just kind of experiment. And I've mentioned this before in the other videos, so it might be just me just repeating myself here. But in this set particular, I do enjoy like almost all the colours. The one that I am gonna change out at some point is gonna be the Mars Black. I'll change that to a, I'm thinking just a more non-granulating brown, black, because it is nice to have the option of just not having it granulate. I can always add things to make things granulate, but you can't remove the granulation. And it also, it's a very weak black, so I do struggle with it in that regard. But yeah, no, I don't want to waste it, so I'll be using it up still. And I don't like Payne's grey or the neutral tint, so I'm very picky, but it's good to know what you don't like so you can avoid it. And you'd rather have a palette of colours that you enjoy and reach for, rather than just dealing with colours, you know. You want to be like, oh, I'm so excited to use this palette, like, it makes me so happy. Because yeah, palettes and colours do affect how much you enjoy painting. Because if you love painting floral works and you don't have the right, like, bright red or something, or your pinks or greens, it can be really frustrating and makes you just not enjoy it as much, you know. Yeah, I think I've overworked the Carcabeak. Speaking of flowers, And we'll move on to doing the last layer in the stem before we let it dry and do something in the background. Just be probably a faint wash of sorts. Those are always nice and effective. So I think I will just do that, and we'll add a little bit of the warm green this time. I think I like that colour. It's a bit hard, I've got a bit of a glare on it from the angle that I'm looking, but that's okay. As long as it's a green, it's a good start. We don't need a lot of it anyway, and maybe I'll go in with a bit of maybe a little bit of yellow, just for some of the leaves. And then when you next see this, we'll be ready to do the background. Okay, so I've let it dry for a little bit, still a little wet, but I realized as I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I haven't used a blue, and I know I said it doesn't matter if you don't use all the colors in your set in a painting, but I think a blue for the background could be really nice. I'm going to add a little bit of the Mars Black in there just to kind of deepen it a little bit and make it a little bit less bright and green and blue, and more of a like a overcast kind of blue. So we'll just, oh sorry, I bumped the camera there. I'm just gonna do a wash of it. This brush is not the greatest for that, it doesn't hold a lot of water, and that's just because it's synthetic hairs instead of real hair, but it was really cheap, it was like $2. So I am okay with that, and it's still a really nice shape. It's a very small flat brush, and it's fun to use flat brushes and just kind of experiment with that kind of thing. The different brush shapes help you with different things, or maybe the flat brush for me, it lets me be a little more loose and less refined, especially if I feel like I'm going to get caught up in doing details or shading or something like that. It's really nice to stop you from being trapped into your usual anyway. So if you usually use flat brushes, you'd probably try with a round or maybe a cat's tongue brush, you know, something crazy. Maybe a dagger brush, which has kind of got like a curve to it, like a dagger shape to it. So yeah, there's a lot of cool brushes out there, but I wouldn't say you have to buy a brush to try it. If you've got one around, or you could borrow it from someone, but it is like, if you have the money you could buy a brush like that, but some things it doesn't matter. But like, this was $2, so it's like, I'm happy with that expense. Just depends on your own circumstance and preference as well. Okay, this is the last little section here, and then just like that, that's our painting done. Crazy. Didn't take as long as I thought it would. I'll give you guys a bit of a closer look. Turned out pretty fun. You can't quite tell they're Kakabik if you don't know what Kakabik flowers are, so I recommend googling it if you are unsure of what they look like. Maybe you could even give them a go of painting, especially if you love using bright reds and stuff. It's the subject matter for you, and they aren't too hard to paint. They've got a very distinct shape, so if you're getting into flowers but you don't want to paint the really complicated ones, like I'm not sure, but like roses, I always struggle with them. I'd recommend giving this a go. So yeah, I hope it was a fun video, entertaining, and I'll see you guys in the next one.